Isaac Woodard enlisted in the U.S. Army on October 14th, 1942. He served in the Pacific Theater in a labor battalion as a longshoreman and was promoted to sergeant. He earned a battle star for his service from unloading ships under enemy fire in New Guinea. And on February 12th, 1946, he received his honorable discharge. On the same day, the 26-year-old Woodard, still in uniform, was on a Greyhound bus traveling from Camp Gordon in Augusta, Georgia, to South Carolina to pick up his wife and then go to New York City with her to visit his parents. As they made a stop in North Carolina, he asked the bus driver if there was any time to use the restroom. The driver cursed at Woodard and said no. Woodard cursed back, and the driver said go and hurry up. Woodard went and used the restroom and got back on the bus. At the next stop in Batesburg, South Carolina, the driver contacted the chief of police, Linwood Scholl, who forcibly removed Woodard from the bus. After demanding to see his discharge papers, a number of policemen, including Scholl, took Woodard to a nearby alley where they beat him repeatedly with nightsticks. And after that, they took Woodard to the town jail and arrested him for disorderly conduct, accusing him of drinking beer in the back of the bus with other soldiers. During the course of the night in jail, Scholl beat and blinded Woodard. Woodard would later state in court that he beat him for saying yes instead of yes, sir. Woodard also suffered partial amnesia as a result of his injuries. Woodard stated that he was punched in the eyes by the police several times on the way to jail and later repeatedly jabbed his eyes with a billy club. Newspaper reports indicate that Woodard's eyes had been gouged out, and documents indicate that each eyeball was ruptured irreparably in the socket. The following morning, the police sent Woodard before the local judge, who found him guilty and fined him $50 as the soldier requested medical assistance. It took 2 more days for a doctor to be sent to him. Not knowing where he was and suffering from amnesia, Woodard ended up in the hospital in Aiken, South Carolina, receiving substandard medical care. 3 weeks after he was reported missing by his relatives, Woodard was discovered in the hospital, and he was immediately rushed to the U.S. Army Hospital in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Though his memory had begun to recover, by that time, doctors found that both his eyes were damaged beyond repair. On October 2nd, Scholl and several of his officers were indicted in the U.S. District Court of Columbia, South Carolina. The local U.S. attorney charged with handling the case failed to interview anyone except the bus driver. The presiding judge over the case later wrote of being disgusted at the way the case was handled at the local level. The defense did not perform any better when the defense attorney began to shout racial epithets at Woodard. The presiding judge stopped him immediately. After Woodard gave his account of the events, Scholl firmly denied it. He claimed that Woodard had threatened him with a gun and that Scholl had used his billy club to defend himself. During this testimony, Scholl admitted that he repeatedly struck Woodard in the eyes on November 5th. After 30 minutes of deliberation, the all-white jury found Scholl not guilty on all charges, despite him admitting that he blinded Woodard. The courtroom broke into applause upon hearing the verdict. This verdict brought about the desegregation of the U.S. military enacted by President Truman at that time. Scholl was never punished, dying in Batesburg, South Carolina, at the good old age of 95 on December 27th, 1997. Isaac Woodard moved north after the trial during the Second Great Migration and lived in the New York City area for the rest of his life. He died at the age of 73 in the Veterans Administration Hospital in the Bronx on September 23rd, 1992. He was buried with military honors at the Calverton National Cemetery in Calverton, New York, on Saturday, February 9th, 2019. A commemorative historical marker was dedicated to Isaac Woodard in Batesburg, Leesville, South Carolina, with the bottom portion of the marker written in Braille. This is the story of Isaac Woodard.